Good day everyone. Welcome to the lecture series on power electronics. In this session we shall discuss single phase line commutated inverter. So let us consider a single phase full converter with V2 type connection where the AC source is supplying power to load through this rectifier this B2 type connection. So it has 4 thyristor T1, T2, T3 and T4, and in load we have R, L and E. Now in order to explain the operation, let me consider load is highly inductive in nature so that current through load is continuous. And you can see the voltage across source with this polarity, that is VAB is shown with this curve. So with this thick curve, and where VBA, so VBA is shown with the dotted lines here, which is equal to minus Vs, and peak value of the input voltage is equal to Vm. Now here if you observe carefully, battery voltage polarity is reversed when compared to its operation in rectifier mode. That is one of the important observation to be noted down. And let me assume and we know that thyristor T1, T2 and T3, T4 are going to be naturally forward biased in positive half cycle and negative half cycle respectively. So that is T1, T2 are going to be forward biased at omega t is equal to 0, and T3, T4 are going to be forward biased at omega t is equal to pi. Now let me apply the gate signal for T1, T2 at omega t is equal to some alpha, where alpha is greater than 90. So far we have considered operation with alpha less than 90. Now in this case, in this particular mode of operation, that is inverting mode, let me take alpha is greater than 90 degrees and let us see what would happen to the load power. Now so alpha is taken more than 90, right? T1, T2 are fired at alpha which is more than 90, and we know battery voltage is negative, so polarity of battery voltage is reversed when compared to its operation in rectifier mode. Now anyway, so for omega t ranging from alpha to pi plus alpha, so you can see, so at alpha T1, T2 are fired, they would conduct, so they would be driven into forward bias condition, and they would conduct unless next sequence of thyristors are fired, next sequence of T3 and T4, until they are fired they would conduct. Assuming load is highly inductive in nature, load current must be continuous, and there is only one possibility, so T1, T2 must conduct even after omega t is equal to pi. So even though negative voltage across source is negative, still they have to conduct. So for omega t ranging from alpha to pi plus alpha, T1 and T2 are going to conduct, and this is the path of the current. Source current is same as thyristor 1 current is same as load current, which is same as thyristor 2 current also. Now thyristor T1 and T2 are conducting, and voltage across them would be 0. Applying KVL for this conducting loop, you can see that Vs is equal to V0, or V0 is equal to Vs. So for omega t ranging from alpha to pi plus alpha, V0 is equal to VAB, which is equal to Vs. Now see, similarly the load current, you can see that load is inductive in nature. As long as you apply positive voltage, load current usually would rise, and then if you apply negative voltage, load current would fall this way. And let me assume that load current is varying between Imin and Imax respectively. So this is maximum value and this is minimum value. At omega t is equal to alpha, it is minimum, and somewhere it reaches to maximum, and then it fall back to the minimum at pi plus alpha. And coming to voltage across thyristor T1, so thyristor 1, so because it is conducting, voltage across that would be 0, and same would be the case would be same for T2 also. T1 and T2 are conducting, voltage across them is 0, so here VT1 is shown, which is also equal to VT2, it is 0. Coming to VT2, so now you can see VT3, the voltage across thyristor 3, you can see the cathode of this T3 is directly connected to terminal A, because it is short circuited through this thyristor 1. So this A terminal voltage is same as cathode terminal voltage of T3. Similarly, so B terminal is connected, so it is shorted, you can see. So this B terminal is connected to the source negative terminal. So voltage across T3 would be same as VBA with this polarity, cathode positive, anode positive, cathode negative. Similarly, you can find out voltage across T4 also. Voltage across T4 also, you can see that is also equal to VBA. As long as T2 is conducting, you can see that voltage across T4 is same as VBA. So voltage across T3, which is equal to voltage across T4. So that is, so VBA. So this is VBA from alpha to pi plus alpha, right? So that way it will follow VBA. And coming to the source current, so during this period, we can see that source current is same as the load current. You can see the source current, source current direction is in agreement with the load current. So both are equal. So source current would follow the load current pattern. Now, for omega t ranging from pi plus alpha to 2 pi plus alpha, you can see at pi plus alpha, T3 and T4 are fired, which are already forward biased. You can see, so by the time T3 is already forward biased, you can see voltage across T3 is positive, it is already forward biased, but it is not conducting because there is no gating pulse applied. Now I am applying gating pulse at omega t is equal to pi plus alpha. So this T3 would be driven into the conduction mode, and similarly the case would be same for T4 also. So T3 and T4 would come into conduction mode, and load current would be shifted from T1 T2 to T3 T4. That is this way. Now, so this T1 and T2 are known as outgoing thyristors, and T3 and T4 for which current is transferred, so they are known as incoming thyristors. So current would be transferred from outgoing thyristor to incoming thyristors. So that is happening at 5 plus alpha. Now, so because T3 and T4 are conducting, voltage across them is 0. Applying KVL for this conducting path, so this particular loop, conducting loop, you can see that voltage across load is same as VBA with this polarity. So V0 is equal to VBA. So during this period, VBA, what is VBA? So this is VBA. So shown with the dotted line. So from pi plus alpha to 2 pi plus alpha, this would be the voltage. So let you draw it. So this is VBA, which is same as V0 for pi plus alpha. Similarly, coming to load current, so you can see load voltage is positive from 5 plus alpha to 2 pi. So there is slight rise, so there is some rise in the load current during this period, and 5 onwards, negative voltage is applied across load. So there is a possibility of dropping in current. And during this period, T3 and T4 are conducting. So source current is equal to, the load current is same as thyristor 3 and thyristor 4 current. Now during this period, what is happening actually during this period, T1 and T2 are going to be reverse biased. So whenever the gating pulse is applied for T3 and T4, so they would be driven into forward conduction mode, and T1 and T2 are going to be reverse biased by the source voltage. Now you can see voltage across T1 is equal to VAB. So during this period, because it will act as open circuit, and voltage across this T2 also going to be VAB. So now VT1 is equal to VAB, and VAB is shown, you can see. So VAB during this period, that is this. So this is the voltage across VT1, which is also equal to VT2. So this is the voltage. Now during this period, T3 and T4 are conducting. While conducting, voltage drop across them is assumed to be 0, ideal case. So that is taken as 0. And coming to source current, you can see the load current is opposite to that of the source current. You can see the source current this way, and load current is opposite to that. So IS is equal to minus I0. So this is I0, and minus of I0 is this. So that is shown this way. So it is minus I0. So this is the operation of the converter from alpha to 2 pi plus alpha for one complete cycle. And this operation would repeat for remaining cycles also. So that is 2 pi plus alpha to 3 pi plus alpha. So once again T1, T2 are going to conduct, and later on, so next cycle T3 and T4 are going to conduct, and so on. So even the case would be same for 0 to alpha. So assuming the operation is analyzed at steady state, and this omega t is equal to 0 is reference point to analyze the operation at steady state. That is not corresponding to the initial period of circuit on. So it is a steady state. So I am starting my analysis at omega t is equal to 0. So that is beginning of one of the positive cycle. Now during that period, once again, so you will have the load current this way, so where T3 and T4, so before T1, T2 are turned on, so T3 and T4 must conduct. Assuming load current is continuous, so there must be some conduction path, and there is only one possibility, so that is through T3 and T4. So during this period, that is 0 to alpha, omega t ranging from 0 to alpha, so T3 and T4 are going to conduct, and corresponding voltage would be this way, right? That is same as VBA. So whenever T3 and T4 are conducting, load voltage is equal to VBA, right? And thyristor 1 and 2 are going to be reverse, they are going to be forward biased, of course. So here, of course, before that it would be reverse biased. It would be reverse biased for certain amount of period. And T3 and T4 are conducting, voltage across them would be 0, and source current is same as minus of the load current. So this is the operation. Now if you observe carefully, T1, T2 are conducting for this period, and T3 and T4 are conducting this period, and conduction angle, if you find, so that is equal to pi radians. Now see, so alpha to pi plus alpha, this conduction period, so if you find out difference, that is equal to pi radians, and this also going to be pi radians. So conduction period is equal to pi radians. And coming to the circuit turn off time, you can see after current through, now at this moment, so now at this moment, that is at omega t is equal to alpha, thyristor 3 and 4 are going to be reverse biased, and current through them would be driven into the 0 value, and this period onwards reverse voltage is applied. After current falling to 0, it is reverse voltage is applied for this amount of period, that is equal to omega into Tc. So this amount of the angle, so omega t is equal to what? Omega t c is equal to pi minus alpha. So during this period, so negative voltage is applied after thyristor currents become 0. So this is known as circuit turn off time. So now in angle, now if you if pi minus and Tc is equal to what? Circuit turn off time, that is equal to pi minus alpha by omega, where alpha is the firing angle of thyristors and omega is the frequency of supply in radians per second. So substituting alpha and omega in this formula, you would get the Tc, circuit turn off time, and this time, circuit turn off time, should be more than the device turn off time. Circuit turn off time should be more than device turn off time for all these thyristors. And coming to peak inverse voltage for alpha greater than 90, so peak inverse voltage, you can see this would be the peak inverse voltage that would appear across the thyristors in reverse bias condition, and this value, if you find, that would be same as Vm sin omega sin alpha. So the peak inverse voltage equal to Vm sin alpha. For alpha less than 90, we have seen the peak inverse voltage equal to Vm. For alpha greater than 90, it is equal to Vm sin alpha. Vm sin alpha, where Vm is the peak value of supply voltage and alpha is the firing angle of each thyristor. Now if you find out the average value of voltage, now you can see, so the voltage, the load voltage would be positive for only certain amount of period, and it is negative. In fact, voltage is more negative than the positive. If you find out area under this curve, you would get the negative value. So I mean to say absolute value of area. If you find out, so that would be, if you find out the exact value of area, you would get, exact value of area. If you find out the exact value of area, that is integration, you would get the negative value. And if you take the mean, then you will get the negative voltage. The mean voltage or average voltage would be negative. And battery is involved here. So power supply by battery is equal to this voltage across this into current through it. And if you find out the current through this load, that is going to be positive, where voltage across this is going to be negative. And if you find out the DC power across the load, that is going to be negative. So what does it mean? Here load, power consumed by load is negative. In fact, it is not consuming power, it is delivering power to the source. So here power is supplied from DC side to AC side. So this converter is referred to as inverter. Okay, this is referred to as inverter because power is supplied from DC to AC. The converter is said to be operated in inverting mode. So if power is supplied from AC to DC, then it is known as rectifier. Okay. So now anyway, so this is the operation of the inverter, and because thyristors are reverse biased, so now if you see computation is occurring naturally. So in fact that computation happened to line voltage. So usually in order to turn on the thyristors, in order to ensure the computation process of thyristor, you have to apply the reverse voltage. But that is happening naturally here. by the line voltage. That is the reason why these are known as line commutated converters, but it is operated in inverting mode, so it is also known as line commutated inverter. Okay, so except this particular thing, except this negative voltage, operation more or less same, except the values are different. Now see, operation is more or less same, alpha 2 pi plus alpha, pi plus alpha, 2 pi plus alpha. If you see, the operation are going to be remain same, but the values, if you see the values, yeah, the average voltage is going to be negative and peak inverse voltage is going to be Vm sin alpha. It is not going to be Vm. So okay, and the circuit turn off time would be reduced. It is much lower relatively when compared to its operation in rectifier mode. That is the difference. But operation wise, so more or less same operation you will have, except the values are different. Now here power observed by the source load is negative, so it is not observing power, it is delivering power. So its operation, this converter is referred to as inverter. It is line commutated inverter. Now let us see the input and output voltages, their RMS values and average values, and currents also. Let us find out average and RMS values of currents. So you will more or less will find similar kind of formula. So the formula for average value, RMS value are more or less same only, except alpha is greater than 90. Everything formulas are going to be more or less same. Because alpha is greater than 90, so this value becomes negative. The average value becomes negative, and RMS value anyway. Once again, RMS value square of the voltage involved, so the value is more or less same. So square of a negative value also going to be positive. So due to that reason, once again, average value of RMS value of output voltage would be Vm by root 2 only. Average value of output current, so you can get using this formula. Okay, so this is the formula. So you know how to find average value. So use this formula. So please go through these formulas. Already we have discussed how to compute average value. So please go through it. Now here, so we know the value of voltage across battery is is having negative polarity, so its value is going to be negative with the given polarity, that is, so upper terminal positive, lower terminal negative, with that polarity is going to be negative. So that is the reason why here it is referred. So usually average value of output current can be found out from the average value of output voltage. So V0 minus E by R, but here polarity of E is reversed. For example, it is 100 volts, then you have to take V0 plus 100 by R instead of minus. Okay, so sorry, here I have considered minus E, assuming so this polarity is this way, upper terminal positive, lower terminal negative, but that is not true. So here let me make this correction. So this is going to be positive, so it is going to be plus, because the polarity of voltage across battery is reversed. It is V0 plus E by R. And RMS value of current, yeah, you can find out. If you know the I0 expression, you can find out. I0 expression can be obtained by applying KVL for this, or simply the KVL for this load. So V0 is equal to R into I0 plus L into di0 by dt minus E. So applying that particular formula, you can solving that particular equation, you would get the mathematical expression for I0, and substituting that mathematical expression in this formula, you would get IOR. Okay, and RMS value of input voltage Vm by root 2, and RMS value of the source current you can find out, that is same as IOR. So derivation is more or less similar to that of the converter in rectifier mode. So formulas are more or less same, except this particular change. And why this change? Because in order to operate the converter in inverting mode, you must have the reverse voltage, reverse polarity for the battery, and if that is incorporated into formula, so this becomes positive. So V0 plus E by R. This is the only change. Okay, so please note this change in line commutated inverter case. So the average value of load current is equal to V0 plus E by R. Okay, where E is absolute value of the battery voltage. Now coming to power supplied by the AC source, that is equal to IOR square minus E into I0. This is power supplied, and this is going to be negative, because so this value is going to be more negative, and IOR square minus E into I0. So overall, so this resistor is going to consume power, but battery, because of the negative polarity, delivers power. In case this value is more, then automatically this power absorbed by load is going to be power absorbed by the load is going to be negative, or power supplied by source is going to be negative. So DC in load delivers power to the AC source, so it is referred to as load commutator inverter, as I mentioned earlier. Coming to the average value and RMS value of thyristor current, so you can so please refer my previous lecture, that is module number 2, lecture number 7. We have discussed the operation of this converter in rectifier mode. So, and there where we have derived the formula for average value of thyristor current and RMS value of thyristor current, assuming load current is continuous. And in case this load current is ripple free, for example, that is constant, then I naught is same as IOR. That is, average value of load current is same as the RMS value of load current. So in case load is very large, it has very large inductance, it is highly inductive in nature, very large inductance. In that case, the load current is more or less ripple free, almost constant, and for that particular condition, average value of load current is same as RMS value of load current. Now you can use them and you can find out input power factor also. So we know the formula for input power factor, that is power delivered by source by the source VA, right? So that I leave it to you. Now anyway, now let us see the single phase full converter operation for continuous load current. We have seen in previous class, that is module number 2, lecture number 7. We have seen its operation in rectifier mode, where the output voltage is going to be positive, that is for alpha less than 90 degrees. Now in this lecture we have seen operation for alpha greater than 90 degrees. So we know for full converter, we know the output voltage formula is 2 Vm by pi into cos alpha, assuming load current is continuous in nature. So for this full converter. So for full converter, so let us see the variation in the output voltage against the alpha, that is firing angle. You can see is the firing angle changing from firing angle changing from 0 to pi by 2. I am sorry, this is not pi, it is pi by 2. Extremely sorry. So this is pi by 2. So this is 6. I am sorry. So make these corrections. So this is pi. This is pi only. So is alpha changing from 0 to pi. So let us see the variation in the output voltage. So is alpha is changing from 0 to pi by 2. So you can see always load voltage is positive. Of course it is falling, but it is positive all the time. It is positive. And while alpha is changing from pi by 2 to pi, we can see the load voltage, the average value of load voltage becomes negative, and it reaches to peak value at at alpha is equal to pi. Now, if you consider this V0 and I0 graph, you can see that V0 is going to be positive all the time. So positive all the time, where alpha is ranging from 0 to pi by 2. And that is going to be negative if alpha is greater than 90 degrees. So greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. In radians, greater than pi by 2 and less than pi. Now, if you see, there are 4 quadrants for this particular V0 and I0 graph, and for alpha ranging from 0 to pi by 2, so this converter is operated in this first quadrant, that is in rectifier mode of operation. And for alpha greater than 90 degrees, V0 is going to be negative, and that is going to be operated in second quadrant. So, and in this particular second quadrant mode of operation, it is operated as line commutator inverter. Okay. So full converters are basically, they are 2 quadrant converters. So because of wide range of control over output voltage by this alpha, so you can see, so you can control the V0 value from 2 Vm by pi to minus 2 Vm pi. So wide range of control is possible. So due to this reason, it can be operated in 2 quadrant mode. So it is known as 2 quadrant converter. And so the other quadrants are not possible because I0 is always positive. If you see, so in this 2 quadrant, I0 is positive. So in first quadrant, you can see that V0 is positive, I0 is positive. Second and third and fourth quadrant, V0 is negative, and output voltage is negative and output current is positive. So current is always positive. That is due to unidirectional nature of these thyristors. Thyristor can allow current in only one direction. They are unidirectional switches, due to which current is always positive. But load voltage can become positive or negative. So it is a 2 quadrant switch. So where in case of diode rectifiers which are uncontrolled in nature, so we have always positive voltage. We have always positive voltage, so that they are going to be operated in only this first quadrant. So they are going to be operated as only rectifiers. They cannot be operated in inverting mode. So they are only one quadrant converters. They are rectifiers. When it comes to the full converter can be operated in inverting mode as well as converting mode, that is rectifier mode. So for alpha ranging from 0 to pi by 2, it is rectifier, and pi by 2 to pi, it is going to be line commutator inverter. Okay, so this is about the operation of line commutator inverter. So if you have any doubts, so please reach me. Okay. Thank you.